already grabbed my check. I got a family membership for myself, my bride Scotty, and my wee ones. Okay, he's not the wee, 6, 7. But if you have not, either today or in the coming weeks, please let Della know. She and Betty are working tables back there and are tremendous. If you ever want to know anything about Grassroots America, We the People, that is the corner to go to. Don't ask me, I don't know any of this stuff. They just put me in front of the microphone and I'm not quite sure why. All right, but let me continue with a couple of announcements. First of all, Jim, afterwards you want just 10 chairs left up here. Tables will be put away, everything else will be stacked, right? Okay, thank you. Before I turn it over to Joanne, since I have the microphone, I'm going to use it. I would like to say appreciation, or a word of appreciation. And I got to tell you, when I was a military brat, my dad was a Marine, and we averaged about 18 months in any place. So I got real good at moving. One of the things that he taught me was, in a new place, it's going to be kind of miserable for a while. So what you ought to do is make a list. Everything you like about the new place, everything you dislike about it. And he thought, yeah, it's pretty much balanced out, right? It's a good practice to get into. And I would take that first page on the pad, and I would write down everything I liked about it. Filled about half the page. And then I take the rest of the pad, the entire pad, and tell them what I didn't like about it. So, are y'all ready for my latest what I like and don't like?
Not if it's that many pages.
It's one page. But I do, and it's been a little while, so I want to express appreciation. I wrote it down. I'm going to miss people anyway, but I want to say something. I appreciate those who work behind the scenes, whether it's Betty, Della, Bob, so many people. I can't mention everyone, but I do appreciate them. You never see them. Or if you do, like Mac, it's because you made an effort to go to him. Thank you very much. I appreciate those who came out in the rain on Wednesday night. We went over to Lakeview. We showed the sheriff's candidate interviews. Most of the people who came out already had their mind made up, and it didn't change anyone's mind. It wasn't a campaign event. Contrary to some reports in the paper, apparently, or in the media somewhere, it wasn't heated. Anybody who was there thought it was heated? Maybe they were gentlemen and took it out back. Not that I ever went out back of the church and settled a couple of disagreements. But it was professionally conducted by the audience, and I appreciate that. I also appreciate those who didn't come. Why? Because none of us needed to be there. Minds were made up. This was because someone had demanded it. We did it, and the candidates allowed it to go forward, and I appreciate them for allowing it. But I appreciate those who kept it in the perspective it should be in. This was a non-event. It isn't about us. It isn't about anyone in Grassroots, unless you happen to be a member who's running for office. I see Matt and Larry back there. There may be others, and I will give you a chance to stand up and say hello. But I also appreciate people like security, the security folks who didn't allow it to be recorded. Security who keep us safe and we don't even know it. People who vet people who are coming to our events, and it's going to happen more and more. I appreciate them. I appreciate the communications group. I appreciate Alan Martin and the speakers groups that are putting together new events for Friday lunchtime events coming into the election and then beyond it. We don't stop just because of one election. I talked about Jim Snow and Betty and Della memberships. I didn't talk about Joey Coker. Joey's going to be running a fundraiser. You don't see Joey, he's on the board, but you may not even recognize him. But he plays an important part, and he will be. Believe it or not, we need funds to keep going. I appreciate, of course, Lakestone?
No.
Cornerstone and Lakeview.
Yeah, there you go.
No, I'm not a politician. I don't control my tongue. But for hosting this, when they don't have to. There are many times when negative things are said in the media, and all the viewer remembers is, yeah, it happened at Cornerstone, or it happened at Lakeview. They're opening their doors to us. Very commendable. I appreciate Sharon and Ashton and others whose jobs don't allow them to be completely in grassroots, and yet they do everything possible. Anytime, I appreciate the folks who step forward when they can and then have to take a back seat for a little while. Those who come back to the group after having been away because of other commitments, other responsibilities, who are still willing to put forth what they can. Now for the bad news.
Uh-oh.
There are people I don't appreciate. There are things I don't appreciate. I don't appreciate those who sit back, watch others work, and then criticize. I don't appreciate people who sit at their keyboard and think they're the center of Smith County, or the center of Texas, or the center of the universe. I don't appreciate people who don't do anything and yet criticize those who do. I am disappointed in people who see their candidate's performance and are a little bit shaken by it, and yet they don't criticize the candidate, they criticize others. They criticize people who put it on. They're disappointed in what a candidate says, just like me. I said, what, Corners? No, I said Lakestone. Y'all ought to be disappointed in me when I screw up. Not in Bob, although it's usually Bob's fault anyway. Bob. If you're supporting a candidate and you're disappointed in him because he doesn't show up at an event, don't vote for Lieutenant Governor Dewhurst. Or if you're a Democrat and President Obama doesn't show up at the NAACP, don't vote for him. Or if you're a sheriff, or if you're supporting a sheriff's candidate and he demands certain things be released and he doesn't show up for it, deal with him, not with the people who actually acquiesce to his request to put out those tapes. Mr. Bradley sent out an email. Becky, wherever Becky is, okay, tells me that it was not from our grassroots email list. I'm glad she could confirm that, although I got it, y'all got it, many of you got it, some of you didn't, but there are many ways to get email. I appreciate that Mr. Bradley has a voice and he talks. I don't appreciate exactly everything he said. I do agree with one thing. One thing he said right at the end was that Grassroots America is free to endorse anyone they please. No one is going to tell us who we should and should not endorse. If we want to endorse a candidate, we the board will tell you, and you have the right to vote for whomever you want. I was talking to a couple of friends before the race. I can't follow all of the races. There are races that I don't know the answer to. What was it, the unexpired term of railroad commissioner? I don't know everyone. Talk to Sharon, talk to Ashton, talk to others. Marcia's around here somewhere. I depend on y'all to tell me. Together, we're going to get through this. But if you disagree with me, or if I disagree with you, I'm going to let you know, and I'm going to vote the way my conscience tells me to. I happen to be a strong supporter of Larry Smith. going into the vetting interviews, I wasn't as strong. I made a decision because Larry Smith was willing to come before us, spend an hour on the hot pad, grilled by all of us, and he kept his sense of humor about it. He also had the presence of mind to tell us what he really wanted to do, what he was going to do, and he didn't tear down or badmouth any of the other three candidates. He impressed me in person where I wasn't quite sure about the sound bites and the bumper stickers and the yard signs. I don't care about those things. I care about what you think. I care about what art tells me. I'm going to balance it about what I know about art. So, those are some of the things I don't appreciate. There is one other thing I don't appreciate. I don't appreciate people who buy websites who say, I hate so-and-so.
Amen.
Amen. Cowards.
I'm sorry?
Cowards.
Yes, cowards. I gotta tell you something. Joanne, close your ears. Joanne Fleming is not running for an elected office. The people who spend their time attacking her when they ought to be supporting their own candidates are wasting their time. They're
You
the
got
same,
that straight.
they're the same people who burn tires in Tyler hoping that the smoke is going to make it to Washington, D.C. Okay, Art, you know a lot more about weather than I do. I don't think that's going to happen. Attacking Joanne Fleming is not going to get their point across. Supporting their candidate is going to get their point across. If you can't support your candidate, if you don't have anything good to say about him, just be quiet. Attacking others is just making you look foolish. It's not professional. It's not something we do. Ronald Reagan said the 11th commandment is we do not attack our own. We're all conservatives here. If we have a disagreement, we settle it. Jim Snow and I disagree all the time. He thinks the Army's pretty good. I happen to think the Air Force is a lot better.
Amen.
The Navy? Navy wasn't even in the, the Marines? I'm the son of a Marine. I know all about the Marines. Just because all these people are wrong doesn't mean I don't like them. I'll still talk to them and I'll still support them where I can. But I do not appreciate those who tear down and don't have anything good to say on their own. If your whole life is measured by you not being someone else, what a waste. Jesse and Al disagreed with the Japanese at one point. They stood up, they took a stand, and they did something about it. And today, the Japanese have pretty much come around to our way of thinking. That's because Al, Jesse, and thousands and tens of thousands and millions of others took a stand and did what was right. It's not about tearing down. It's about building up. All right, Karen, that wasn't the entire notepad, but I went beyond the one page. All right, I'm off the stage. You're going to see things. Can I turn my back so you can stab at that? Pour a little salt in that one. Y'all are going to hear a lot of things in the media, on the street. It's up to all of us to step up and let them know what we know about our candidates and what we know about their positions. Joanne, I'm going to turn it over to you if I could, but I have not allowed the candidates who are